Alright, welcome ladies and gents. The long gestating Gears of War movie taps Dune and Doctor Strange writer John Spates. Just as an FYI, loads of people, this chap's, he's got quite a big career-ish in Hollywood. Mainly because what he does is he does the script treatments and then normally they get handed on over to other people and then they butcher his work. So a prime example of that was actually his work on Prometheus, which was then handed off over to Damon Lindelof, famously, and from there, the script got progressively worse and worse. So John Spates, he's pretty decent. He's not bad. I know loads of people disagree. I get that. But one thing to consider here is Netflix are at least getting what can be considered to be a serious writer on board. And look, his work on Dune was really good. Dune Part 1 and Part 2. And he did Doctor Strange as well. He's not bad. He's not a bad writer. It's normally always when he then, the studio hands his work off over to other people. He's a good, for studios, he's a good script treatment chap. But basically, Gears of War, he's going to be writing it for Netflix. Personally, I think this is good news. I honestly do think this is good news. So we'll dive into this today. Hit subscribe, give the video a like and a share. And yeah, it'd be good to have you here more often. But we covered this last night actually on the Hcast stream. If you didn't know, I live stream with a big panel every Tuesday and Thursday. And then on Thursdays we do a members only stream afterwards. But last night we covered this and we were talking about it. And Culture Casino, friend of the channel, member of the panel, made some interesting comments about how Netflix are really, really pushing for essentially theatrical release level movies. And they've even invested a huge sum of money into purchasing essentially a production studio. It's something which they are going to be, a studio space, a lot of space. So I think this is part of that plan. I could be wrong, but it looks like it's part of that plan. Now, whether this will be good or bad, Netflix quality ebbs and flows dramatically. We all know that. We've seen Netflix, haven't we? And we know as well, and this is the real detractor here, we know as well currently that The Witcher was butchered by the writers, as was Wednesday. The only reason Wednesday was a success was because Jenna Ortega just rewrote things on the fly. She's been called toxic now and unprofessional. Got to get a independent woman down, I guess, these days. The progressive left has. Them Hollywood elites, they can't handle a strong woman. They say they love them, but they can't handle one. But the interesting thing about this is John Spates on board for Gears of War. The common denominator for all projects that are bad with Netflix are the writers. And then, of course, it's the pushback from the leads. Now, we don't know who the leads are, and we don't know if John Spates is a fan of the franchise. We actually just don't know. But it's looking like they want to adapt the first game. If they do, that's very easy to adapt. It's really not that difficult. There's a very good story within that. And because it's a journey game, going from one post to another, fighting your way through and unpacking the story, it actually lends itself quite nicely to a war movie adaptation. So hopefully John is a fan of the franchise of Gears of War. I myself love Gears of War. I remember when it released back in the day. Way back when I owned a games console. I used to play this late at night, just for hours and hours and hours and hours. It was amazing. Absolutely loved it. It was incredible. Now, one saving grace about this live action adaptation is it's not just with Netflix, okay? It is also with Coalition. Coalition are on board to adapt this as well. That's not necessarily the be-all and end-all of quality. We saw what happened with Halo, but this is pretty good. And people forget that John Spates is an Academy Award nominated writer. He is good. He can do good stuff. Now, he's best known for co-writing Dune, in Dune Part 2, and Doctor Strange. So Spates will now take on the challenge of adapting Gears of War, one of gaming's richest and most acclaimed video game sagas with over 40 million copies sold. At the end of the day, this is not rocket science. This is really easy to get right. It's really easy to get right. It's not hard. You just adapt it. Like for like. Just adapt it. Now, Gears of War is one of the all-time great action games with vivid characters, a beautifully designed world, and a combat system that drives home the lethality of war and the importance of standing by your squad mates. This is a statement from Spates himself, and he said this to Variety. It wants to be cinema, and I'm thrilled to have the chance to help that happen. What a fucking good statement. To me, that is someone that gets it. Gears of War is one of the all-time great action games. True. Where's the lie? With vivid characters. True. The characters are epic. A beautifully designed world. True. It's a great world. And a combat system that drives home the lethality of war. True. I remember playing that game and just the weight behind these characters as they smashed up against blocks of concrete to find cover to shoot the locusts. It really did feel visceral and real. And he says here as well, the importance of standing by your squad mates. Very true. Because of the dynamic within that game. I would say that this is encouraging. It wants to be cinema. Yeah, man. I think this is good. I genuinely think this is good news. Now, in November 2022, Netflix announced a partnership with the Coalition to adapt the Gears of War universe. And this is them banking on a cinematic universe. Together, they plan to first adapt the game into a live-action feature film, followed by an adult animated series with the potential for more stories to follow. So they really need to get this right. They want a cinematic universe on their hands. And you know what? For all the cinematic universes out there, I'm game for this. I am. This is fine. Try and push this into a city. Cool. You know, again, it's something away from bloody capes and heroes. The Gears of War games center on a society divided and on the brink of collapse, facing total extinction by the locust alien race, subterranean threat, and also the Lambent. I remember them. God, it was super cool. And I remember all the thoughts and theories of Marcus Phoenix being like half locust because he never took off his bandana. Do you remember them? I remember them. So the Coalition released a statement as well. We're thrilled to partner with John and the Netflix team to bring Gears of War to life. John is a master storyteller with a talent for creating epic science fiction universes, and he truly loves Gears of War. We couldn't ask for a better partner to honour our franchise and deliver an authentic story to our fans. Now, John is good at science fiction. His script for Prometheus is a good script. It is a good script. So yeah, Netflix hiring Spates, Gears of War fans who are one of gaming's most passionate fan bases have much to look forward to, is what Variety said. We'll see. We will see. I think this is good. I think this has, you know, a good element. I mean, he did a script treatment for The Mummy. He didn't write it. And same with Passengers, I believe. So yeah, I think this is good. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Cheers, ladies and gents. Take care.